Hi everybody. So what I'm going to be doing today is making a batch of soap, and this batch is called Sleigh, and I'm going to record myself doing like the whole thing. One, because I haven't done it in a while, and two, because I have been getting some requests for it, so, you know, to see me make some soap, so I'm going to try to do this, and I'm going to try to remember to talk throughout the whole thing, because I do forget sometimes, kind of zone out once I start making the soap. So usually when I'm making soap, like the first thing I like to do is just try to organize everything out as much as possible so that there are no surprises, like if the oil starts to trace fast or whatever. I like to have the colors and all that kind of stuff already mixed. So since this is for Christmas, I'm going to do a white base with a red and green swirl, and I'm going to try to do it in the pot swirl for this one. I haven't worked with this fragrance oil in, oh my goodness, I think 2 years. Last year I did a different, oh, this is green. Last year I did a different scent for Christmas. So I've already put some green oxide in. I'm just going to mix some of this green top color with it. I didn't mean to do that. I thought that was red. And then for the red portion, I'm going to mix some burgundy oxide, which is from Brambleberry. I don't really measure or anything. It's just, I don't know, after doing this for a while, you kind of get a bit of a feel for it. I know about how much soap I'm going to put in here, and generally about how much coloring it takes to do it. And I'm going to mix that with a little bit of crimson mica. And I think I got this, I think this came from Supplies Plus. I've had this for about 3 or 4 years now. I can't remember. I think this came from Wholesale Supplies. I'm almost positive it did. So I'm going to set these aside, and then what I'll do later, once I mix my oils, I'm going to take the oils and put some of those in each one of these to mix them up. Alright, for the live part. Okay, so something I put in every single batch of soap, unless it's a custom order and someone specifically requests that I not use it, is silk fibers. So my soaps are not vegan. They're vegetarian friendly, but they're not vegan. So I don't use like any animal fats or anything, but I do use, I guess what would be considered animal byproducts. I use honey. I use goat's milk. I use the silk fibers. They're cruelty free. The way it works is they're harvested after the moth has already left it, so the silk is just like left behind, and they harvest it then. So I just use like a small little cotton ball piece, put that in, and it dissolves right in the the lye and water. And this is calling for 17.49 ounces of water. I can't remember if this accelerated or not. So I like to discount the water just a little bit, just because it helps the bars get hard a little bit faster. So, because I can't remember, I'm not going to discount too much. I'm just going to take off the 0.49 to take it straight to 17. Now I get my lye from the Lye Guy. This is pretty good when you're making, quite a bit of soap. The prices there are very reasonable. Usually you can buy 5 and get the 6th one free. So this is calling 7.21. My scale is a little hurt now. I used to keep it wrapped up in some plastic. And then I took it off one day and never put it back on, and now my scale is like all ugly and stuff. So I usually go pretty slow with the lye, just because I don't want to accidentally put too much in. And then I just use a skewer or something to mix it. Once you start mixing it, like the fumes can start to come out. So I usually will have a window or something open nearby, and then I just stand away from it, like arm's length away, so that the fumes are kind of going that way and I'm standing over here. And most of the containers and stuff that I use to make make my soap, like these I got from the dollar store. They were just like water pitchers, juice pitchers or whatever. I use those for the lye. And the mixing bowls came from the dollar store. My spatulas come from the dollar store. The big buckets that I use, actually, when I buy supplies, once I started ordering supplies in larger quantities, they started shipping them in these big pails. So that was cool. It was kind of handy. I just reuse them once once they're empty. I just wash them out and then use those for soap or for storing. Like if I whip up a large amount of body butters and stuff like that, I'll store those inside of those pails. And I just mix the lye. You want to mix the lye until the water's kind of clear a little bit. Okay, so once I mix my lyes and water, I always bring the temperature down in an ice bath. I use like a big bowl. I think I got that from Walmart, but it was still only like $1. And I fill it with ice and water, and then just sit the lye down in that, and it brings the temperature down faster. Now what I'm going to do is melt my heart oil. Okay, so like I said before, I like to use some of the oils. Some of the base oils to mix the colors. I pre-mix everything just to get all of the clumps and stuff like that out. Try to minimize the amount of clumps in the soap. I like to use these spatulas I got from the dollar store. They've been really easy, so they're really good for smushing up the colors and getting them blended, getting them nice and smooth. Okay, and then for these batches, I use this mold. It's not really a mold, it's a cutter, but I don't use this to cut soap anymore, so I just turned it into a loaf mold, which worked out perfectly. While I'm still waiting for the light to cool down, I'm going to go ahead and my mold. I am out of freezer paper. This isn't enough. Darn it. I'm out of freezer paper. This is the end of it. I'm going to have to play around with it a little bit to make it work. So right now it's not tall enough. So not enough paper. It's kind of funny how short I am here. I'm going to get really creative with some taping here. Adding paper to it to make it enough. So I can make this work. What's pretty much going to happen is I'm going to have to use tape to really seal up the end to make sure nothing leaks because the paper is not tall enough, not quite tall enough. And it's going to make the end cut kind of wrinkly, but it's not the end of the world. And I did want to make some more soap today, but when I was doing this, I realized I don't have enough olive oil to do another batch. I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to ask Brandon to go to the store for me. Today is our anniversary. We've been married for 8 years, but know how cool it would be to send him to the store to buy me some soap making supplies. And I'm sure tonight he's just going to want to come straight home from work. Normally I don't do all of this kind of taping, but because of my little shortage of paper, alright, so it's going to work. I worked it out. Make sure everything stays in place here. So I can feel the side of my container here. I already knew that my oils were about room temperature. And I can feel that my lye is room temperature as well. Put my gloves back on. I hope I can still get a good swirl in here. get that light trace I was hoping. Okay, so I've already pre-measured my fragrance oil. Okay, so I'm going to titanium dioxide. I like to always hit it again once I add the titanium dioxide, although I mix it up as fine as I could. I don't want to get any like white dots and streaks in the soap from the titanium dioxide. So I just hit it with the stick blender again. usually the only time I wind up with like extra soap is when I'm measuring out to do swirls like this. I don't want to waste anything. The mold's already kind of full, so I just use what's left of the colors to make one little sample bar or something. But in this case, it is sharp. I couldn't find my little square mold. Just saw it the other day. Of course, now I can't find it. Okay, so that's the soap there. And probably at this point all I'll do is, once it's a little bit firmer, I'll spritz the top with some rubbing alcohol. And if I know, I'll spritz the top with some rubbing alcohol and then cover it in plastic. I don't know why I do the plastic thing. It just seems to help keep it smooth and everything. And I've noticed that when I use it, I don't get soda ash. So, and then if I see it starting to gel, I'll probably go ahead and insulate it and help it along its way. I'm not going to force a gel. I'm not going to prevent it either. I just let it do what it's going to do. But if I do notice that it's going into a gel, I'll go ahead and cover it. Go ahead and insulate. So that's it. And this is Sleigh Ride, and I'll be back most likely tomorrow morning to cut it up so we can see what's inside. So that's it from me for today, guys. Have a good day. Happy soaping.